aggressive, so-called anti-fascists. Well, they look pretty close to fascists to me. If viewers at home will remember, I was on this show a couple of weeks ago talking about similar scenes outside the home of a German MP, Peter Bystrom, where those protesters were letting off bombs and lighting fires and setting fire to cars outside the home of a patriotic German Catholic MP. And these marches in Germany, they were being organized by the political authorities. And why do they do this, Steve? It's exactly as you said when you spoke at Marine Le Pen's conference in France, that they cannot handle our arguments. So their only recourse is to shut down the debate. And this is the violence that we can see here taking place. What is on?
Ben, just hang on one second. I want our audience. This footage has not really been seen in the United States. This is unbelievable. This is just a full-on riot brought on by these people. What was the gathering? Was Zamora? Put it in perspective. Frame it for our audience exactly what they're watching.
Okay, so what we're seeing here is the first conference that Eric Zemmour, who's now announced his candidacy for the Élysée Palace in Paris, in France, and that is to say the French presidency. He announced that via YouTube a couple of days ago, last week. It already clocked up 2.5 million views before YouTube started suppressing it. This is his first conference in which he was announcing the launch of his new political party. What is this political party called? It's called Reconquest. That's an interesting choice of words because Eric Zemmour is a public intellectual. He explained his choice for the term Reconquest as a direct reminiscence of the Reconquista, which was in the Iberian Peninsula, that is to say Spain, in the days of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. Now, Ferdinand and Isabella famously had a choice. They could either kick the Moors out of Spain or they could occupy or annex Portugal. They decided to kick the Muslim invaders out of Spain and created a unified, coherent nation state that has existed to this day. Interesting that I say that he picks the name Reconquest, because what this does is this specifically and explicitly and deliberately frames this new political movement in France in a grand historic narrative. As we know, Steve, and you're really one of the leading experts on this, leading world experts on this, historical narratives are extremely important. They're essential to political debate because it explains exactly where we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and who the enemy is. So I think this is a genius move on behalf of Eric Zemmour. If I may, I'm going to list 3 of his campaign points that he announced at this conference. He said he was going to bring immigration down to 0. He's going to cut taxes for the working class and companies and abolish inheritance taxes on family businesses. And the third point, he said, is that he's going to pull France out of the integrated military command of NATO, of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Because just like in the United States, just like in the UK, France is sick of seeing its young heroes coming back in body bags, fighting wars that have no direct relevance to the French people and the French taxpayer.